Oh, that's the last thing we had wanted to see. What's going on, guys? You are checking out an all new the RCWR show. Your host right here, Lee Sanders, coming at you guys for October 30th, 2018. How the hell y'all been, man? Yeah, you know what? Real quick here, I'm noticing something off the break that I'm not exactly too keen on. And I think if you're checking the webcast out, I think I might be seeing some serious lag. So I'm actually going to need you guys' help. If there is some serious lag, let me know in the comments section below. And I would greatly appreciate that. We might not be starting this show just yet, because let me see if this is going to correct itself here. Hang on a second. I'm ready to do the show, and then like right when I hit live, I get that irritating ass message that I cannot stand. Let me try to refresh this again. Let me see something here. Hang on, guys. See if we can correct this. I don't know. It looks like the stream is good. Let me keep going here. Hopefully the lag isn't that bad. Hang on here, guys. Let me look here. I guess we're good. Hang on. 17%. That's not bad. How's the stream, guys? Somebody post a comment in the chat box. Are you guys noticing any serious lag right now? I'm actually looking at the stream here. I'll tell you what, let me switch on over and let me see and hear what you guys are hearing real quick. And if everything is good, then great, because I can actually go ahead and edit the video later and all that. So let me mute myself here. Let me see if I can hear what you guys are hearing here. Okay. Yeah, Lee, I see that it says, I mean, I just watched it. It looks like it's okay. I'm almost tempted to just be like, nope, and just shut this bad boy down. All right, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays off. All right, just guys, you guys keep me posted in the chat box if you're noticing in particular if the audio is out of sync, because I can actually play with the audio off the fly to make it sync up with the video, and that's about the best that I can do. But if I notice any serious lag, then we'll go on ahead and I don't know, we may have to disengage from YouTube, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead. Let's try that again. I'll edit all this out later. All right, countdown, 3, 2, and 1. What's going on, guys? You're checking out an all new the RCWR show covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. We're coming at you all for Tuesday night of October 30th, 2018. A well-rested Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for checking out tonight's show. Hey, look, man, before we dive into everything, can I just, on a side note, can I just give a big shout out to the beautiful and the lovely Tammy, and a shout out to Ebony, aka Dark Dragunn, for stepping in my place on Sunday's Evolution after show. And if you guys did not check it out, I know initially we did the live stream. So if you guys were part of the live stream, then that's like effing freaking good. But after the stream was over, I actually went back in and I did some editing. And sadly, what ended up happening as soon as the stream was over, normally I like to have the stream get pumped out within 30 minutes after it initially airs, because usually I can do what I need to do as far as editing and all that goes, and then boom, I can pretty much release it on the downloads. But what ended up happening after the after show was over, me, Ebony, Tammy, Bryan, basically it was a 2-on-2 conversation that lasted like an additional 2 hours. So by the time we all just said, all right, good night, everybody. We looked at the clock and it was like 2 in the morning. And Tammy says to me, there's just no way you're going to be able to edit this audio because you had heard at least a 2-hour show. I said, yeah. So that would take me to about, for sure, 4 in the morning. And then, yeah. So I ended up editing the audio late in the afternoon, and it was released. What was it? It was released Monday evening, I want to say, like about maybe 2 hours shy before Rawhead came on. So if by chance you guys didn't get a chance to check out that after show with Tammy and Ebony, do check it out. It was actually pretty good. Played it back. I mean, I listened to it initially as I was editing, and I'm going, I laughed at a lot of parts. But then once it was edited and I went on back and I listened to it, I said, wow, so, you know, these girls, they actually did pretty damn good. And I can just feel the enthusiasm of wanting to do that again next year. No, I don't think, let me put it to you this way. I think if Evolution is a yearly thing, both girls will definitely do it. But if it's a situation where WWE every other month or every 3 months, they're going to try to do some type of a all women's pay-per-view event, I don't think the girls want to do that. So, and I don't blame them, because I mean, they're like being completely taken out of their element, so to speak. But I honestly thought that they did a really good job. What's up, Akano? Akano said he can hear me loud and clear. That's great. I love that. That's great. So it was great. It was a great after show. But yeah, check it out after you get done checking this out, right? It was good. It was nice hearing that female perspective. Nothing was rehearsed. Nothing was scripted. Each girl respectfully had their own bullet points on what they wanted to talk about on that show. And they pretty much were just like really bouncing off of each other like that. So, I mean, my kudos to them. They did fantastic as far as I was concerned. Man, what an interesting weekend. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, Boston, say what you want about Boston as far as sports go. But man, look, the World Series, Boston Red Sox, congrats. Really, congrats. That one game, though, Friday night going into Saturday morning, I did not appreciate that. I did not appreciate watching the first initial broadcast of Live PD, which pretty much went up until midnight. And off and on, I was checking out Fox to see what was going on with the game. And over here, we had got the game at about 8 o'clock at night on the East Coast. So I'm kind of going back and forth, and then I ended up leaving it on Live PD. And I say, okay, well, let me just watch Live PD. And there's actually the first half of Live PD I missed. So usually what I do, if I miss the first half of Live PD, like usually about the first hour or 90 minutes, I'll go on ahead as soon as Live PD is over. I'll actually watch the encore, because the encore comes on immediately after the initial premiere. So I would say probably up until about 1:30, almost 2 o'clock, I'm going, okay, I'm caught up now on Live PD. Let me go on ahead and let me see what's going on with the World Series game. And to basically see that this game was still going on, I'm like, what the hell, man? And almost 8 hours that this game had went on, and it's like, just ended already. And I remember when I went back to work on Monday, I was asking one of my coworkers, he's a big baseball fan. He follows all the sports, but definitely he knows his baseball. And I'm out of touch with baseball. I used to follow it religiously back in the day, the Harry Carey days. Definitely during the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa back and forth, used to follow all of that. Loved what Cal Ripken did when he was with the Orioles. But like pretty much after that period of time, I kind of like fell out of love with baseball. And a lot of it had to do with what Jose Canseco had revealed. And then you see Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa come out, and you're going, yeah, that just left a bitter taste in my mouth. And I pretty much was done with baseball after that. But I would say within the past 2, maybe 3 years, I kind of found myself getting back into loving baseball again. And I asked my buddy at work, Marcus, I said, dude, what the hell? It's like, why couldn't they just say, okay, you know what, this game has gone on far too long. Why not just pause it and then resume it several hours later? He goes, I don't know, dude. He said, but that was basically sudden death. Like, that's the thing with baseball. There has to be a winner. Just has to be, especially when it comes to the World Series. It's like there is no tie, there is no comeback to it later. That's just how it is. And I'm going, well, that's stupid. They need to change that. It's like, you could have almost paid us around the world to watch that game. It almost kind of felt like, you know, after 4 hours, okay, all right, so come on, let's make the point already. I felt sorry in particular for the little kids that were still there in attendance. It was quite sad to see. I mean, it's one thing if you have teenagers there at a baseball game, right? That's one thing. They're probably used to being up that late on the weekend. They don't have to worry about school the next day and all that. They're out on break, what have you. But when it's a situation where school is back in full effect, yeah, and not just that. I mean, thank God it was a Saturday. First off, thank God it was a Friday night going into a Saturday. But to see kids that were younger than 10 that were in attendance, and here we are, we're pretty much, I mean, on the East Coast time, you know, it's like, okay, it's damn near pushing 4 in the morning. You're going, whew, like you can only feel what was going on with those guys. Because I think that game they played was out in LA, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's the case, then you had a 3-hour time difference. So what would have been 4 a.m. East Coast on our time would have been what, guys, 1 a.m. Their time. So, ooh, I mean, my God, I think after, what was about the 17th inning, because I came in around the 15th or the 16th inning, and I pretty much was just there after that. To see, I want to say around the 16th inning, people just say, bump this. I mean, you saw so many empty seats. It wasn't even funny, but majority of the people were there in attendance. But you know what? Say what you want to say about Boston when it comes to their sports. I know some people feel a certain way about the New England Patriots and all that. But, you know, look, I've got nothing but, hey, congrats to say with regards to the Boston Red Sox. It was their time. And, hey, enjoy the fun in the sun as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I agree, Lee. Lee said after the 7th inning, they stopped selling food and drink. Oh, what? Are you serious, Lee? Holy crap. I thought Lee was saying something else. Lee made an observation that after the 7th inning, they stopped selling food and drinks. No, they should have kept selling it. Anything to keep that money coming in. I'm like this. I'll tell you what. Let's make a compromise. I think if it's after 10 innings, I think food and drinks should be offered at half price. Like, as soon as the 10th inning wraps up and it's still a tie and you got to keep going, then food and drinks half off. Now, I will say this. I will put a restriction around that. I will say that after the 10th inning, food and drinks half off, but no access to alcohol. I think that's more than fair. Quite honestly, what do you guys think? I mean, me personally, I think that's more than fair, especially if you got people, especially kids that are in attendance that's like, hey, mommy, daddy, I'm kind of hungry again. Oh, we're just going to have to wait until we get home. No, if you're hungry, you want a bite to eat, you know, I think you should keep it going. I mean, I think that's more than fair, honestly. To make it half off, that's more than fair. That way, the Patreon isn't feeling as though they're being robbed. You guys got to forgive me if I'm fumbling through my words because you might not be able to hear it, but these headphones and this microphone, it's all super sensitive right now, especially with my mixer because I'm able to hear a police siren in the background. And it's driving me crazy. It sounds like it's going farther and farther away. It sounds like they were driving past here, but now they're off to a distance and they're almost gone from my ear. So that's good. Yeah, whenever I use this mixer and I have my setup going, I feel like I'm the bionic man. I feel like I have that Superman hearing, basically. I keep telling my girl, I say, hey, be careful because when you're downstairs, hell, I can hear you all the way in the basement doing laundry. She's like, get out of here. Yeah, I can hear all of that. It's like these things are like super, super powerful. So the other thing, while we're talking sports and everything, blends into the topic of wrestling and all that. I saw what went down in Cleveland. Thus the title of this week's episode of the RCWR show, which is Sucks to Be in Cleveland, or Daniel Bryan and John Cena bailing on WWE Crown Jewel. We'll get to that in a hot second. But we're staying with Cleveland. Cleveland, you guys, I love you guys tremendously. I really do. I'm with you. I am with you in spirit right now. What a emotional roller coaster you guys must be going through right now in Cleveland. I mean, I know we got some people that want to just make jokes at Cleveland, and they kind of have every right to do so because of the boneheaded decisions that were made. But I'm a little bit more sympathetic, and I'm actually gonna, to a degree, defend Cleveland a little bit as far as how the fans are feeling and everything. I'm going to defend some of the decisions that was made with two franchises, but I'm also going to light that ass up. Okay. So first off, let's talk basketball. So my man, Ty Lue, who did 3 seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers, took them to the NBA Conference Finals, was able to take them to the NBA Finals, got a NBA Finals championship out of that. He finds himself out of a job after taking the Cavs this 2018-19 season 0-6. 0-6. And he gets shown the door. And I just couldn't help but go, wait a minute, say what? What exactly? What the hell did he do? And what was even more, dude, seriously, was the fact that he was fired on a Sunday. Now, some people may say, big deal. Sunday, people get fired all the time. Yeah, but fired on a Sunday and fired on your day off. Like, how the hell is that even possible? That's kind of like you've been clocking in for work. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You're going to work on time, right? Anything that they ask of you to do, you're doing it. You're going above and beyond your responsibilities. And then you're chilling on your day off, right? And you get a call from the boss, and the boss says, hey, look, we got to let you go. Well, what did I do wrong? What happened? What do you mean you got to let me go? This couldn't wait until Monday when I came in? What the WTF? So you hear that. And for me, I grew up on Ty Lue. I remember his tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers. And he played for the Los Angeles Lakers, what was that, 1998 to maybe 2000, 2001. And nice clutch throws. Nice clutch throws. He had a lot of big moments. There were some key games where, hey, good job, Ty Lue. All right. Ladies loved him. Ladies love them some Ty Lue because he was light-skinned, yellow bone, as some of the ladies like to call it, had nice, pretty long hair that was always in cornrows. It was down to his shoulders, I remember. And he was a lot skinnier than what you see of him now. A lot of ladies loved him some Ty Lue. They thought he was a pretty yellow bone looking dude. Okay. So to see the transition that he was able to make. Now, look, off the court, he's had some problems, especially dealing with health and everything. But I remember there was that one period last season when LeBron was still with the Cavs. Ty Lue went out for several games because he was sick and everything. But he came on back, and I got to tell you, you had that one infamous game where Ty Lue was pretty furious what was going on with the Cavs. And he pulled LeBron to the side and said, LeBron, I need you to step your game up, man. I need you to be better than what you're putting out there right now. And LeBron was kind of scoffing at him. Oh, you talking to me like that? What? And he tries to go to upper management. Hey, Ty Lue has said this. And management says, well, we agree with Ty Lue. He's absolutely right. You do need to step your game up, right? Ty Lue was... And I know everybody feels a certain way about Ty Lue. Everybody goes, well, you know what? It was LeBron James' team. LeBron James was the coach. He was the one that was making everything happen. Ty Lue just basically was riding the coattails. He was getting a free ride. I'm not going to bite into that apple. That's just too damn easy for me. I can instead just look at everything he had accomplished as a player, because when I look at Ty Lue for me is first and foremost a player's coach. That's what he is for me. And remember that time period that I just mentioned of when he played with the Lakers, 98 to about 2001, right? So yeah, if you know your coaches during that time period, 9 out of 10, or in this case 10 out of 10, he did play for the great Phil Jackson. So I'm sure that a little bit of that philosophy when it comes to coaching Phil Jackson had was instilled in Ty Lue, while also being part of that young up and coming generation that can get to that point where you can say, well, you know what, you can't keep running the triangle offense because that triangle offense is sorry as hell. You can't keep doing that forever. You got to switch it up a little bit. I'm sure Phil Jackson's coaching philosophy and then updating it with the times of what's currently happening in the NBA, I'm sure that Ty Lue was able to do a good job infusing the two and trying to find his own style. But first and foremost, for me personally, just 2 cents from a distance, Ty Lue always came off as a player's coach, right? And who better to take input from than a player's coach, a player that knows what it's like to be involved in the playoffs, a player that knows what it's like to be in the NBA Finals, a player / coach that has that winning pedigree, that killer instinct. And Ty Lue does have all of that. Say what you will about him as a coach in Cleveland, but when it's all said and done, he has all of those things, right? So for him to actually pull LeBron to the side and say, hey, man, I need you to do a lot more because what you're doing so far, it ain't enough. You got to give me some more, right? Some people would look at that, the audacity of Ty Lue comes from a different fabric, all right? So personally, I thought that after what he was able to do in Cleveland, the right pieces that were in place, oh my God, and then you think about what had went down with Kyrie Irving, when Kyrie Irving said, hey, I'm done in Cleveland. I don't want to play here anymore. Ty Lue had to do his very best to reshuffle the roster and everything. And then, you know, look at what he kind of was able to do after LeBron had left, right? Yeah, 06 stars. Some of those games were kind of close, though. They all weren't blowouts. Not all of them. It wasn't a situation where, okay, going into the fourth quarter and you guys are just down by 50 freaking points. You can forget about it. Ain't no damn comeback for you guys. He had his team, at least in the fourth quarter. You know, some of those games, they were a little bit close. I'm not saying it was like 3 points here or 5 points there, but I just felt that at the end of the day, I'm going to call it for what it is. I feel that Dan Gilbert just wanted to get rid of that last little bit of residue that was of LeBron James and just really say, this is my team now. Remember what he had said to people last year, right before LeBron was considering leaving Cleveland. Dan Gilbert, Cleveland Cavaliers owner, he said, I hope that LeBron does leave because I want full control of this team again. That's what Dan Gilbert said, right? So LeBron makes the decision that he makes, rolls out. Now all that you got left is Ty Lue. Yeah, go ahead, get rid of him as well. I think it was sad. I think it was really fucked up how they did my man Ty Lue. But you know what? Ty Lue, and they did this in the middle of a contract too. So he's going to be getting a fat ass payday. He's getting at least $15 million. Okay. If I'm Ty Lue, man, considering all the health problems that you had last year, and Lord knows you're fully not at 100%. I think a lot of us would be in agreement, and we're not picking on Ty Lue in any type of way, but he has significantly picked up a little bit of weight. And, you know, if you know your basketball players like that, that's not the Ty Lue that we all remember. Now, we remember when Ty Lue was playing for the Lakers, how I'm not saying he needs to be that skinny again, but considering the health problems that he's been having and everything, yeah, you know what? Ty Lue at this point, $15 million, brother, kick on back, go travel with your family, enjoy yourself, wine and dine, just relax. And whenever you're ready to go back at it again and play as a head coach in the NBA, you're going to get a job. I mean, I see some of these coaches that's running around these days and I'm going, man, dude, you've had so many chances. What the hell? Let somebody else new get an opportunity, right? Whenever Ty Lue is ready, he's going to get another job as a head coach. Mark my words on that. He will get another opportunity. And if I were to make a bold prediction, what I personally would like to see happen is Ty Lue take about a year off. Just take this 2018-19 season off. Enjoy. My bold prediction is that with regards to the 2019-20 season, I think Ty Lue, for the right offer, I think he will be back. I do. So I don't think his break is going to be that long, but I do feel as though he will be back. Now, if you were to ask me where do I think Ty Lue could end up being the head coach for, that I'm not sure. That I'm not really sure. I would have to, at the end of the season, look at all of the teams and pretty much go from there. I would have to understand what's going on with the win-loss record, what's going on with coaches' contracts, things of that nature. I would have to sit down and look at all that, but I don't think he should just go anywhere. That's the thing. I definitely feel as though he needs to be part of a team that is in the rebuilding process and has some really good pieces in place. I mean, hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, his boy LeBron James may look out for him. You never know. LeBron had some very nice things to say about Ty Lue when he found out about the news. Nothing but praise for the man. So, I mean, it's safe to say Luke Walton is in the hot seat, right? A lot of reports are out there that this could be it for Luke. So, maybe Ty Lue is able to slide on in there. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But I definitely feel that from 2 cents from a distance, Ty Lue needs to be part of a team that is somewhat in a rebuilding process, has some really good young pieces that have a lot of potential, gonna be there for some years. You don't have to worry about the salary cap. You don't have to worry about, oh, this guy's getting ready to go, and right, something that he can definitely build around. I think he's gonna need at least a year commitment, maybe a year and a half. So basically a season and a half to make whatever adjustments he needs to make. And then basically year 2 on, he's able to do what he needs to do, right? So that's my thoughts on that with regards to the Cavs, what they did. Dan Gilbert, the hell with you. I mean, I'm kind of like many people. After LeBron rolled out, I paid attention to what Kyrie Irving was doing, was always a fan of the Cavs. Once LeBron left, I said, well, you know what? They still got some rather decent pieces. Ty Lue is there. Let me see what's going on. But now that they've gotten rid of Ty Lue, I'm kind of going, you know what? Cavs, Dan Gilbert, middle finger to you all the way. I'm done. If that's how you're going to do your players and your coaches and everything, if you're going to be that bitter, if you're going to act like a whiny little bitch, Dan Gilbert, screw you. This isn't even the team that Dan Gilbert wanted originally. Dan Gilbert originally wanted the Detroit Pistons, and magically an opportunity came about for owning the Cavs. All right, so screw Dan Gilbert as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's talk football. We're staying with Cleveland. Another head scratcher WTF moment, right? So Browns, which should be a no-brainer, but it's the second move that they did that was a bit surprising. So they went on ahead and they fired Hugh Jackson. Look, man, Hugh Jackson, from everything that I've heard about this guy, listening to Cleveland Browns podcasts and, you know, what fellow players and those in personnel have been able to say about Jackson. Jackson is a very nice guy. If you get the opportunity to get to know him, you know, he's really, really cool. Very respectful, very admirable, you know, real nice guy. You know, sadly, nice guys, they tend to finish last, right? And in this case, Hugh Jackson wasn't even able to finish at all what he was trying to start. Honestly, this makes no surprise for me whatsoever, because with a pitiful record in the couple of seasons that he was the coach for the Browns, he basically commanded a record of 3-36-1. Marinate on that for a few ticks. 3-36-1. That is the record that he has as the Cleveland Browns head coach. He took over in 2016. Now, I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for this firing whatsoever. I do not. You needed this shakeup. You honestly needed this shakeup because November, it's basically here. All the teams right now, before going into December, all the teams before the end of November, they want to be at that 500 mark. You know, they want to be at that 500 mark. And the fact that these guys are struggling, they are just continuing to struggle. You can only point but so many fingers at so many other people before self-accountability comes into play, as far as I'm concerned, right? So Hugh Jackson, and I mean, when you look at his NFL record, I mean, my God, let me just run off this list real quick for you guys. Let me run off this list. As a coach, right? Just as a coach, Pacific 1987-89, graduate assistant, wide receivers, running backups, and special teams coach. Cal State Fullerton 1990 to 1991. Running backs coach and special teams coach. London Monarchs, 1991, running backs coach. Arizona State, 1992 to 94, running backs coach. Arizona State, 1995, quarterbacks coach. California, 1996, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. USC, 1997, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. USC, 1998 to 1999, offensive coordinator and running backs coach. USC 2000, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Washington Redskins, got to show DC some love. 2001 to 2002, running backs coach. Also, Washington Redskins in 2003, offensive coordinator. Cincinnati Bengals, 2004 to 2006, wide receivers coach. Atlanta Falcons, 2007, offensive coordinator. Baltimore Ravens, 2008 to 2009, quarterbacks coach. Oakland Raiders, 2010, offensive coordinator. Oakland Raiders again in 2011 became the head coach. Cincinnati Bengals, 2012, secondary assistant and special teams coach. Cincinnati Bengals 2013, running backs coach. Cincinnati Bengals 2014 to 2015, offensive coordinator. And last stint, Cleveland Browns head coach, 2016 to present. So this guy has been a journeyman when it's all said and done. A journeyman. Akano saying, I heard Hugh Jackson was clashing with the Browns offensive coordinator. It's very well possible. I'm hearing the same thing that you're hearing. Honestly, you know, now that he is fired, maybe he can tell his side of the story and everything. But I tell you what, I don't feel sorry that he got canned, but what's even more, but see, here's the thing. So you move Craig Williams, when we're definitely familiar with Craig Williams here in the nation's capital, because there was that period where, if I'm not mistaken, we had him as a head coach. I know we had him as a coordinator, but I'm pretty sure we also had him as a head coach. So, and then you remember his stint in the Saints and all that. Okay, so he's now been made the interim head coach. You know, you hear that and you're going, well, how does that really help guys like Baker Mayfield and all that? Does that really help them at all? I don't really think it does. I think you're just slinging shit in a different direction as far as I'm concerned. Now, the other guy that they had got rid of, which was kind of a little bit of a head scratcher to me, I didn't really agree with. And if I'm not mistaken, the guy that they got rid of also was, oh my God, who's the guy I'm thinking of? Who's the other guy that they had canned? He's in the Cleveland Browns as well. I want to say he was a coordinator. I want to say they had got rid of him as well. If somebody can help me out in the chat, I'd appreciate it. But you know, that guy, you're going, well, wait a minute. He was kind of essential in the development of Baker Mayfield. And, you know, if you see these moves being made, ultimately, you look at the general manager for the Cleveland Browns. You look at the owner of the Cleveland Browns. And I'm sorry, but if you're potentially somebody outside looking in, like, let's say you're a player, and you see all of these things that's going on in Cleveland. If you are if you are someone that's very skilled in being a coordinator for the offense or the defense or whatever, and you hear of an opportunity coming about where you could get a job with Cleveland, I'm sorry, but just looking at what they've been doing in Cleveland, they've pretty much had a new coach and coordinator for like the past 5-6 years. So a lot of inconsistency that's there. Like every year, it's almost a guarantee that someone is going to be out. And my memory's now jogged. They had fired also offensive coordinator Todd Haley. I thought Todd Haley was doing a solid job, not a phenomenal, but I thought he was doing a solid job with Baker Mayfield. So now you've got Todd Haley out, and thanks to Leah in the chat, I appreciate that. You also have Baker now in this position where just when he was starting to build that trust, build that relationship with a guy like Haley, now you take him out of the equation, and now you got to have Baker learn from a new guy altogether. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe they also had said that for the time being, Greg Williams was also going to be the one to take the place of Haley's position. So I don't have that much confidence in Greg Williams. I'm not being bitter in any type of way. I'm just looking at the time that we had him here in Washington, and it wasn't impressive. It wasn't anything that was, oh my God. Like if I had to pick between North Turner and Greg Williams as far as who I want for a coordinator, I'm going to go with North Turner any goddamn day of the week. If I'm going to go with head coach, I'm going to go with North Turner every day of the week. That's the honest truth. So I really feel for Cleveland right now because, I mean, they are in some serious growing pains. But if I'm looking at Cleveland and I'm seeing how management is handling business and the fact that it's guaranteed, if you're lucky, maybe 2 years, you'll last in the position that you'll last in, but you're going to be shown the door. Cleveland does not look pleasing. It doesn't look very attractive. Now you got, and see, here's the sad part. You got some really good players. You've had really good players that have been there in Cleveland over the years. But sadly, because of how crappy the owners are, it's definitely not on the players. It's more so on upper management and the owners, because the owners are basically giving the directive and the management under the owners is going and they're executing that vision that the owners have, right? So when you add all that up, Baker does look very, hey, to be in a position where I could coach Baker? Yeah, sign me up. That sounds really good. But all that crap that's going to come to it, I'm sorry, but if it's me and they come to me and say, hey, we've seen your record with blah, 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 and we want for you to be the head coach, I would say to them, okay, you want me to be the head coach? These are my terms. I'm not interested in only being there for 2 years and then you guys can my ass like you do with the other guys. I want a commitment. I need to be able to go in there, full power, do what I need to do, no questions. I can defer to you guys, find out how you guys are feeling or whatever, but I need full control. You can give me your input, but at the end of the day, it's my decision, my sole decision, but I want at least 5 years. You got to give me at least 5 years to do what I need to do. If they couldn't commit to me for 5 years, hell, I'll even accept 4 years. But if they couldn't commit to me for at least 4 to 5 years, I'm not having it. I would need an ironclad, guaranteed contract of at least, because think about that. Think about that for a second. Think about if you're that coordinator or you're that coach, you're now out of a job, and Cleveland becomes available, and you got young kids. That's not fair to them, right? Think about that. That's not fair to them that they got to move their whole life around as they know it, and they go to this new place, right? These new surroundings, new neighborhood, new schools and all that, and then just when they're starting to find their groove in that new neighborhood, the kids are finally starting to get settled in, they're finally starting to make friends, daddy's out of a job. Nobody wants to go through that. And like Strack is saying in the chat, if you want to end a head coaching job, go to Cleveland. I think at this point, if you just want to end your career, period, Cleveland is the place to go. I mean, you kind of want to look at what they're doing and saying, look, we're in a rebuilding process. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. And Lee in the chat, not Lee in the chat, Jerome going with the snores. Hey, man, nobody's forcing you to check out the channel, man. Nobody's forcing you to check out the stream. If you're not feeling what you're feeling, man, you're more than welcome to go jump and check out something else. You're checking out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. So we mix it up. It's not just strictly a wrestling show. If you want a straight up wrestling show. And then on Raw, Roman Reigns came out. And then we go to a backstage segment with Renee Young, who was trying to find Baron Corbin. And then we got a commercial for Sonic Foods. You can go elsewhere, my friend. We're very loose over here. We have a lot of fun over here. The guys in the chat will tell you. But, you know, and shout out to Seb. Seb, been a loyal subscriber for years. Appreciate that, Seb. Thank you. But no, I was actually just done talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Browns. So, you know, it's sad. Cleveland, I'm definitely with you guys in spirit. All right. I'm definitely with you guys in spirit. I'm sure some of you guys are probably a little bit curious my thoughts on the WWE Evolution pay-per-view event. I gotta say, because I haven't said anything. If you guys notice, I didn't really say anything on social media. I watched the pay-per-view event in real time with many of you guys, and I said a little something here and there, but when it came to an after show, so this is my first time actually talking about the pay-per-view event since, in full detail, uninterrupted. And for me, I went in with low expectations. And I gotta say, overall, the pay-per-view, hey, Gino, I would say the pay-per-view overall was good. Like I said, I went in there with very, very low expectations. And I love the alternative facts that were put out there leading up to Evolution Sunday. Oh, Evolution sold out. Really, it sold out. Well, why is it that 3 in the afternoon, I'm still able to get tickets for as low as $7? And then I hear pretty much by 6:30, tickets have sold out for Evolution. Tickets have sold out. I go online again. Now, why am I still able to find a boatload of tickets close to being sold out? I'm fine with that, but don't hit me up with, and that's actually what some dirt sheets and all that were reporting, that it was sold out. No, when it's 6:30 p.m. and it's 30 minutes before the pre-show, and I'm still able to see a boatload of tickets, right? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but freaking, we got a problem. Anytime I can go on there and I can basically choose a boatload of tickets, I just went on there and I said, give me 5+ tickets. And I'm able to see which seats are available and all of that. Cheapest seats were still $7. So, but hey, you know what? When it's all said and done, I can look past that. At the end of the day, what I'm more focused on is how was the overall card. And for me, the overall card was solid. It really, really was. I enjoyed it from top to bottom. I was a little bit disappointed that we did not get our NXT UK Women's Championship match, because I was really looking forward to seeing Rhea Ripley in action. I gotta tell you guys, and why is my phone still doing that? I had this on, I thought I had this one vibrate, and apparently it wasn't. Let me just mute that a second here, because I hate when that crap happens. Bear with me a second here. Okay. Hi. What do you need help with exactly? And that's actually a business That was a business email. Yeah, I had to take that, guy. Sorry, that was a business email. That's money. That's a money opportunity there. So the Evolution card, yeah, like I said earlier, I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the NXT UK Women's Championship match because I wanted to see Rhea Ripley in action. I've become a really, really big fan of hers. And I know some people are like, well, wait a minute, Leah, wait a minute. She did wrestle. Yeah, but that was a dark match. I actually wanted to see it on the actual card itself, right? But apparently she had took on Dakota Kai. I won't spoil that for... Actually, you know what? I can spoil that, I believe, because it doesn't look like there was a notation made that that was taped for a future episode of NXT UK. So I can actually go ahead and go right into it. So yeah, Rhea Ripley, she did defend the UK Women's Championship. It was against Dakota Kai. She defeated Dakota Kai to retain the title. Personally, I would have loved to have seen that match. Going down the rest of the Evolution card just real quick, and Trish Stratus, Lita defeating Mickie James, Alicia Fox with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, look, apparently she had some type of a concussion at a WWE live event, and as a result of that, she wasn't able to take part in this tag team match, so that's why we had Alicia Fox in there once again. You know, I thought it was a great show opener. Is it just me, or did something look a little bit off with Alexa? It seemed like her nose, and I'm not picking on her in any type of way. I'm not making fun of her, so please don't twist my words. But it seemed as though Alexa Bliss's nose was much bigger than usual. And I can't help but wonder if when she was concussed in the face, if her nose had something to do with that. I can't help but wonder that, because I remember seeing her first come out and I'm going, something doesn't look quite right. And it wasn't the costumes that was throwing me off. You could maybe make the argument, oh, well, she had put in some different contact lenses for that night so she could look the Halloween part, Alice in Wonderland and all that. I don't know, something just looked a little bit off with her around the nose area. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then when I saw her on Monday night, because they basically had that, what was it, a 5-on-5 women's match or something like that? I see her come out again and I'm going, something still doesn't quite look right with her nose. What's going on here? And as soon as they went to a commercial break, you see Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, they're doing that whole Twizzlers thing and they're trying to go talk to Alexa, get her to join the B team. So to see her and then immediately go into that, you're wait, something does look a little bit off. Well, what exactly is going on there? But speedy recovery to her. Bottom line, speedy recovery to her. Whatever is going on with her, I just hope that we get to see her in the ring. Because I gotta say, I really was looking forward to her in action against Trish and Lita. Trish and Lita, you know, they did okay. They did okay. They did okay for me. It was great seeing them. They aged like fine wine. They've gotten better and better with time. Nia Jax winning the 20-woman Battle Royal match for a shot at the Women's Championship. I said it was going to come down to Nia or Tamina. That's just the vibe I was getting. I know a lot of people were really high on Amber Moon, but I told you guys, and I said, look, reason why I was going with Tamina just came back. Nice way to build up some good momentum for her, right? But then I also said, hey, if there's anybody else that could be winning this, I could definitely see Nia Jax. And I'm actually happy that Nia Jax is back into the mix again. I love seeing a Nia Jax hunting for the title. And honestly, I hope that we get a situation where Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey squares off again. I hope that maybe it can come as early as Survivor Series. I would love to see those two girls go at it again. I was on this very show a couple of months back, and I gave a lot of praise to that match that Nia had with Ronda. I felt that to date, that was the best singles match that Nia Jax had of her entire career. I mean, she really took it to another level. So I really, really had enjoyed seeing her. So I'm happy that we're going to be seeing these two lock it up again. God damn. Can I just take a side note and can I just say to you guys, if you appreciate this episode, can you do me a huge favor? Can you hit the thumbs up? I got to tell you something. We have been fighting spam bots out the ass the past couple of weeks, and it's been fucking ridiculous. So I don't even have to be on the air for 10 minutes these days. And you guys that have been checking out the stream live, I don't have to be on the air for 10 minutes and I already get like dislikes out the ass. And that's because we've been fighting with spam bots. And basically the way these spam bots operate, just a quick side note for you guys, the way these spam bots operate, somebody basically will go into a program and they'll put in a particular user's YouTube channel, right? And they automatically have it set up so that every single time that person goes live, or they have it set up so that, you know, once a new video has been published, the spam bots will automatically dislike that video. So just imagine if you're coming onto somebody's YouTube channel for the very first time because you see that they're live and you're a little bit curious what they're talking about or whatever. And they've done their part. They've tagged their video right. They've done their very best to not come off deceitful in any type of way. What you're getting is what you're getting. You know, it's like, damn, what the hell's up with all of these dislikes? Just FYI. And YouTube, I got to give them credit. They've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to curb stomp on auto spam dislike bots. Now it's a situation where they've almost implemented it at 100%, but now they're at a point where they'll be able to authenticate likes and dislikes to the point they've already slowly rolled it out. I think they've only rolled it out to like about maybe 10% of YouTube content creators. But after a couple of days, any like, okay, we're able to tell that these dislikes is bogus, YouTube will actually go back and yank those away. I personally think that the dislike system is really stupid, quite honestly. I'm like this, and I'm talking as a content creator. Like, I'm proud to say that when I go on somebody else's YouTube channel and I'm looking up stuff or whatever, if I don't like what I see, I never dislike their stuff. Like, even if I feel what they're saying doesn't apply to me or their execution is totally wrong or whatever, I always go that extra mile and I just say, okay, you know what? Let me just go find something else. I'll actually hit the X button in the upper right hand corner of my browser. I'll just X that out and I'll just go look for something else, because at the end of the day, I respect the fuck. I say I respect the fuck. I respect the hell out of the fact that they took time out of their schedule to make that content. So there's just that part of me as a creator that just goes, you know, damn, they took the time out to make that. Who am I to be like, well, this shit sucks and I'm just going to leave a dislike? It's one thing if you leave a dislike and you offer constructive criticism. Then it's kind of like, okay, all right, granted. Well, at least you owned it, right? And it's very rare I come across people that will actually say, hey, I left a dislike because XYZ. And they're like, do this, maybe I'll come on back. It's like, okay, cool, no problem. But yeah, isn't it weird how it is? It's weird because you don't get dislikes on Facebook. There's no dislikes on Instagram. There's no dislikes on Dailymotion. There's no dislikes. Did I mention all of the major ones? I think I did. All the major ones I pretty much mentioned. Hell, even on Patreon, there's no dislikes. Why is there a dislike button on YouTube? Can somebody explain that to me? Because I never did really understand that shit. And I like what Gino's saying in the chat, just to get back to the wrestling. Maybe she did get her nose done. Maybe. Or maybe that injury really did go to her face. Knee to face. I mean, you never know. But yeah, I thought they did pretty good. Going off the rest of the card, I'm sorry I had got sidetracked there, but I'm just briefly touching upon some of these matches here, all of these matches from Evolution. Toni Storm defeating Io Shirai for the 2018 Mae Young Classic Tournament Final. Great match. Great fucking match. I loved it. That really could have gone either way. Either way, that really could have gone. You know, part of me was really hoping that Io would win it. But then the more and more that I thought about it, the next thing you would have known, people would have been arguing, going back and forth, talking about the whole, oh, well, you know, the Asians or the past 2 years now, the Asian Pacific Islanders or the Japanese women have been getting it. What the hell, you know? I'm fine. I think honestly, I saw that rhetoric that was being put out there about Shari not winning it and that whole narrative about, oh, here we go again, second year in a row, a Japanese woman gets it. What the hell? I think that's a silly argument. I think honestly, if she would have won, people would have been happy. Nobody wouldn't have been going in that direction. And anybody that said, oh, well, she's got to win it because look at what happened, you know, last year with Kairi Sane. It was like, no. This one really could have gone either way. You just really weren't sure. But Io was the one I had went with all the way. When I filled out my brackets, I had her going all the way. I think I said it would be her and Mercedes Martinez in the finals. I think that's what I had said. I got to go back and look at my brackets. Toni Storm winning it, though, I think this is good. I mean, they just rolled out NXT UK, so you can now watch that on the network Wednesday afternoons. What is it, 3 p.m. Eastern or whatever? Or if you're not able to watch it at that time, then finally, at least you can watch it on demand, right? So, I mean, there's no problem with that. But Toni Storm getting it, you know, I'm fine with Toni Storm getting it. It's basically creating more NXT UK brand awareness as far as I'm concerned, right? So I had no problem with Toni Storm getting it. Not to mention Toni Storm, man, she has that, you know, when I was looking at her Sunday, she gave me that Tori Wilson, Eve Torres, AJ Lee vibe all rolled up in one. Little bit of, what's that one girl that had won the Diva Search competition? Ashley Massaro. She's got like all of those girls mixed up in her, but also has that touch of Becky Lynch as well, as far as the in-ring goes. So, I mean, she's a firecracker. I'm going to be watching her more closely than I am of Io Shirai. I already know what Io Shirai is capable of. I'm paying a lot more attention to Toni. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natty defeating the Riot Squad, 6-woman tag match. Good match. Good tag match. For me, one of two major matches of the night. Shayna Baszler taking on Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's title. A lot of people had Kairi Sane winning the NXT title. I went in a different direction. I said, no, Shayna Baszler, hook or by crook, she's getting that title. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was done to set up horsewomen versus horsewomen. I'm not sure if it's maybe going to go down at Survivor Series, but if there was ever a time and a place, you could do it there. Becky Lynch taking on Charlotte Flair, last woman standing match for the SmackDown Women's title. I got to tell you straight up, my hat's off to the booking team for this one. My hat's off big time for Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. This was match of the year as far as I'm concerned. When I'm looking at all the matches for the females in the WWE for all of 2018, I would have to say that this match was the match of the year. And I'm going to go a step further than that. I'm going to jump out there. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm going to jump out there and I'm going to say that with regards to this match, man, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it. That's how I felt. And I've had a couple of nights to sleep on it. So I'm going to go there now, which is for me in the history of watching WWE women wrestle. I would have to say that this was, without a doubt, the greatest women's wrestling match in WWE. Like, the greatest. And I can put it on another tier. When I look at all of the women's wrestling that we've seen on WWE pay-per-view. I can jump out there and I can say that this was without a doubt the best women's match on a pay-per-view to date. So for me, it wins in all of those categories. And just the fact that you have the build-up, the story, everything that, you know, is implemented in this, taking you to this great feud. And it has been a really great feud. Everything basically beginning, really popping off at SummerSlam and everything culminating up to this point at Evolution. I just personally felt that everything just aligned so perfectly in this match. And the fact that these girls were able to go out there and tell the type of story that they were able to tell. It wasn't just a straight up one-on-one match. I mean, they brought out the tables, they brought out the chairs, power bomb from the top turnbuckle through a damn table. Everything was just, oh my God, it was good. And it pretty much had, for me, put a nice pretty little ribbon on what this Evolution pay-per-view was all about. Now, some people will say, well, this should have closed out Evolution. No. I was actually fine with the order of the pay-per-view. I was fine that this did not close out the pay-per-view. I'm sure many people would have loved it, but for me personally, I was fine. I was fine with the placement of it, because to basically set up the Ronda Rousey Nikki Bella match for the Raw Women's title, I actually was fine for that. I mean, after all, Ronda Rousey, everything that she accomplished in the MMA world, what she's been able to accomplish in Hollywood and everything. No, I felt that if you're going to close out your pay-per-view, that's your true marquee talent. That's your true star right there. I had no problem with that match ending the pay-per-view. Contrary to how some people may feel about Charlotte and Becky, it should have been the ones to close it out. No, I'm gonna agree with the other people that said no, the placement was good. For me, the placement was good. I like what Akano is saying in the chat. He said that Charlotte and Becky tore the house down last Sunday, one of the best WWE feuds of 2018. I definitely would agree with that, brother. I definitely would agree with that 100%. And I hope these girls aren't done. I hope these girls are not done. What's up, Tony? I hope these girls are not done. I hope we can get maybe at least one more match out of these girls. If you ask me, ultimately, what I would love to see happen, I would love to see at this point Becky Lynch and Charlotte going at it at WrestleMania. Would love to see that happen. Now, I don't want Charlotte to win the title at WrestleMania, because I do want for Becky Lynch to have her moment in the sun at WrestleMania. Of course, looks like we got a new development happening with Becky Lynch, so we can't really jump too far ahead. Of course, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a hot second. What's up to I Love Shrimp? I Love Shrimp saying in the chat, Awesome Lee Sanders finally caught one of your live streams. Longtime listener, first time commenter, love the show. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. All right, let's keep it moving along here. So we pretty much talked about all the other matches. So yeah, Nikki Bella, Ronda Rousey, that was great. That was great. I mean, the way Ronda Rousey, you know what? I loved what Tammy had said on the Evolution after show. She said, you know, this match reminded me of, and this is what she said. She said, you know, the match kind of reminded me of Ronda Rousey basically being Brock Lesnar, Nikki Bella basically John Cena. Brie is pretty much Paul Heyman doing all the interfering every time you turn around. I love that analogy that she had used, and I would definitely agree with that. I mean, Ronda, before Brie started getting involved, Ronda was owning the hell out of Nikki Bella. I love that first takedown, though, and I wish the girls would have dived into it a little bit more, but I love that first takedown that Ronda had did to Nikki. And Nikki, just the way she sold that, Nikki legitimately had this pissed off look on her face as though this was not part of the script. This wasn't supposed to happen this way. This isn't what we rehearsed. I mean, she legitimately looked very pissed off. And then to add insult to injury, to see Ronda Rousey pretty much come from behind Nikki and pat her on the back like, there, come on, up in Adams, come on now. I loved all of that. That was freaking sweet. I rolled laughing. I mean, I just had a hearty chuckle at that shit. That was just hilarious. But you know what? Contrary to how some people may feel about Nikki Bella, I want to just say that I know a lot of people hate on Nikki Bella. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people like to have their jokes at her expense. Yeah. But my hat's off to Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella had one job and one job, which was to go in there and make Ronda Rousey come out smelling like $1 million to the WWE universe. That was her job. And I would have to say that Nikki Bella went into this match. I mean, when you really stop and you think about it, you look at how fast Ronda Rousey has been able to adapt in the ring, in the style of the WWE, mainly for entertainment purposes. You look at how far along she's come. And in this brief period of time that she's been with the WWE, she has been adapting rather quickly, and I commend her for that. She still has a lot more to go, but she has continued to show me week in and week out her evolution, right? And for me to see Nikki Bella go in there, I don't care what anybody says. I've been on this show multiple times throughout the years. I've given Nikki Bella praise when she's been able to really go out there, bust her ass, and put on a decent match. I've given her more praise than I have Brie Bella, and that's the God's to honest truth. Nikki Bella went in there, and let me tell you something. Nikki Bella, for me, was the unsung hero of the night for Evolution. Because she really could have gone in there if she wanted to and really use politics in the ring to embarrass the hell out of Ronda. Now, some people will say, nah, there's no way you can embarrass Ronda because of her whole MMA background. And we're not talking MMA, not in the WWE ring. We're not talking that. Nikki could have easily gone in there and she could have made Ronda Rousey come out of there. I mean, think Goldberg versus William Regal, and when William Regal was just having circles, just dancing circles all around Goldberg's head, just really exposing the hell out of him. Nikki could have gone in that direction if she wanted to, and she did not. So for that, she has my respect, but ultimately the major respect goes to the fact that she knew what her role was, and she went in there and she freaking delivered. She hit a home fucking run. I thoroughly had enjoyed that. I really, really did. And I probably was only one of a few people on this show that said Ronda will retain. Nikki's going to go in there. She's going to do what she needs to do, make Ronda look good. I probably was only one of a few podcasters that said, no, Ronda for the retain. Everybody else pegged Nikki Bella would win. And I see, and I understand the whole explanation. I can understand the theory behind it. I really do. But it seemed like what a lot of people kept forgetting was horsewomen versus horsewomen. You got to set that up. So, you know, I agree with what the girls had said on the Evolution After show. I think ultimately what this is going to come down to is at least Ronda holding on to that title until maybe Survivor Series. But I'm going to go a step further than that. I think at this point, Ronda's going to be holding on to that title until WrestleMania. I mean, if there's ever a time you really need all eyes on your product, and you know you got the WrestleMania tickets going on sale, what is it, in November? I think they're supposed to go on sale the second week, or maybe going into the third week of November. So, nah, I think at this point she's going to be holding on to that title a little bit longer than what some people are estimating. But I thought overall Evolution was a really, really good card. It's nice to see the WWE, you know, really showing the women some love. Yeah, you know, with all of the other wrestling promotions that's running around, I get it. All of the other women's wrestling promotions running around, I get that. But for WWE to finally catch up to what the other women's wrestling promotions are doing, it's a beautiful thing to see. And I hope that there's more opportunities to come for the women. They definitely, I hope they get another opportunity. I really do hope that they get another opportunity. I got Strack in the chat saying WrestleMania tickets go on sale this Friday. Can anybody confirm that? Let me know in the chat if it is this Friday. And let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. All right, so want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking out the RCWR show right now. You're checking out episode number, I think we're now on episode number 623. Covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Hey, did you know the RCWR show is now on Fight TV? Yes, we are now on Fight TV. You can check out all episodes on demand on Fight TV. They are typically released no later than Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, but as long as you have that page bookmarked, typically, depends. It just depends on what's going on that day with the Fight TV team. They could release the content a lot sooner than later. But if you have not subscribed to the RCWR show on Fight TV, please do so. Just go on Fight TV's website and type in RCWR show. Boom, you'll see us off the break, and give that a follow. In the coming weeks, we're definitely going to be doing more exclusive content for those guys. Looking forward to it. And hey, man, it was really nice to do that prize giveaway contest for the WWE Supercard codes. I heard back from one of the guys that had won, because I basically said to the winners, I said, hey, look, can you do me a favor so we can show legitimacy to our contest and everything? Can you do me a favor and send a picture and or a video of yourself just saying, hey, thanks RCWR show? And I heard back from one of the guys that had took the time out to send an image of himself, and it was really, really cool. You know, stuff like that, it really puts a smile on my face. It's really nice to be in a position where we can do really nice, cool things for people, because, and I'm sure you guys had saw the episode that we did last week, and we had that one knucklehead in the chat that apparently was just upset over the fact that he did not win or whatever. And you know, truth be told, you know, I bust my ass working hard, going to my day job, you know, every day, sometimes working 6-7 days consecutively, right? Because sometimes we get slammed like that with different projects. And, you know, when I'm not doing that, I'm doing voiceover work from clients. I'm providing recorded ad spots, narrating audio books, things of that nature. And for me to be in a position where, okay, you know what, I kind of want to give back to the listeners a little bit, especially those that have been kind of supportive of the show over the years. But at the same time, I also want to try to get more brand awareness out there and try to grow the audience a little bit. It's nice when we do really cool contests like that, and see, understand something. When I do these contests and all that, when these prizes are up for grabs, 9 times out of 10, almost every time, it's not a situation where, oh, I reach out to THQ and I get a free copy of WWE 2K19. No. 9 out of 10. So basically 90% of the time, I'm coming out of my own pocket to pay for these things, right? So, you know, for me to hear that type of stuff I had heard last week, it was like, whoa, so, you know, pump the brakes. What the hell is going on? Shout out to Gino in the chat. Yeah, I thought I heard, I gave the correct information the first time. Gino said Friday, November 16th is when WrestleMania tickets go on sale. Yeah, Strack, I don't know what you're reading, man, but yeah, Gino, I'm with you. I was around that same ballpark. That's why I said the second week of November. So yeah. Remember that, Strack. We go off of your calendar, man. Those of us trying to go to WrestleMania, we're going to miss out on that opportunity, brother. But yeah, if I can, let me show you guys the picture that one of the guys had sent me real quick. This just really freaking made my day. So here's our guy Brandon, And you guys on the download, you can't see it. You'd actually have to check out the web stream. But here's our guy, Brandon, that had won the AJ Styles QR code. And that's pretty sweet. Let me leave it up there just a few more seconds here. So hopefully there's no light glare that's getting in the way of the image here from you guys seeing it. So I'll just show that. I'll kind of tilt it up a little bit more here. And then I'll just... Oh, damn. Well, the phone went off. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me try that one more time. Ah, that sucks. Let me try that. Try that one more time. And hopefully there's no glare. And let me bring it over a little bit more over here. So that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Let me bring it a little bit more over here. So that's pretty cool. It's nice that, you know, we're able to put smiles on people's faces like that. You know, it makes the show really worthwhile, really awesome. So Raw this week, big cliffhanger, because we had last week where Roman Reigns revealed that he had leukemia, that basically he's been battling leukemia for the past 11 years and that his leukemia had returned, and as a result of that he was going to need to step away from the ring. He relinquished the Universal Championship, and that's it. He is in the biggest fight of his life right now, and he has no other appearances that he's going to be doing for WWE for the rest of this year. However, in a new interesting development, he has been announced for the Arizona Comic-Con that's going to be happening first quarter of 2019. Looks like it's going to be happening in January of 2019. And listen to this. This is a really great lineup so far. Now, I can't tell you off the break that tickets are not available just yet. Tickets, pricing, all that information, that will be available next week. But check this out. Those that are going to be coming to this Arizona Comic-Con event: Tom Hiddleston, Loki, for you Marvel fans; David Tennant, who was the 10th Doctor Who; my crush, oh my god, I love this girl. She is so freaking attractive. I just giggle like a schoolboy every single time I see her. I legitimately have a crush on her. I haven't had a crush on another woman in a long time. Kristen Ritter, Jessica Jones; Charlie Cox, Daredevil, he's going to be there; Charlotte Flair. So look at that 1-2 combo. Charlotte Flair, and I can tell you from personal experience, and Tammy will attest to this as well, Charlotte Flair is even more prettier in person than what you see on TV. If you get the opportunity, you're in the Arizona area or will be in the Arizona area, and you've yet to take part in a autograph photo op session for some of these WWE superstars, in particular Charlotte Flair, I would say take advantage of the opportunity. Charlotte is really awesome. They got some more WWE guys that's going to be there as well. Looks like Alexa Bliss will be there. That should be fun. And Lillian Garcia is going to be there as well. So it looks like part of the Q&A and photo op session, there's going to be a WWE panel, and Lillian Garcia is going to be the panel moderator. This is going to be happening on January the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Again, January 11th, 12th, and 13th. And the ticket pricing information, that'll be available next week. So we'll definitely come on back here on the RCWR show and we'll talk about those pricing. I'm very curious how much Roman Reigns is going to be asking for. I'm very curious about that. But I'm excited. Those of you that's going to be in the Arizona area, let me know, because you know what I think would be really badass is if it could be a situation where maybe we could make an arrangement and get some autographs, some signed autographs, and maybe we can do something really cool where we can give some of those away. That would be kind of badass. So, you know, keep our eyes and ears posted to that one. And Mark via Twitter, I'm not able to see the video. Well, it could have been a situation where I was taking a whiz, brother. you should try it now. Just keep refreshing and you should be okay, brother. See what else we got since last we were on the air. We were talking about Raw there. Yeah, I got a little sidetracked with that Roman Reigns news. So yeah, so you get the news there with Roman Reigns, leukemia last week, and like I said, he's pretty much done with the WWE, but that's going to be his first public appearance in 2019 that we just talked about at the Arizona Comic-Con. So you're fresh off of the heels of that big bombshell news he dropped, and I would say that this episode, they reeled you in rather good, I personally felt, because the carrot that they kept dangling over your head was, hey, look at what Dean Ambrose did to Seth Rollins last week. How do you think Seth Rollins is going to respond to this? Well, we'll find out tonight, because Seth Rollins, he's going to be calling out Dean Ambrose. There's going to be some type of a confrontation going down. You stick around. You don't want to miss it. So I like that they dangled that carrot over our head for a majority of the night. And when it came time, they played it smart. They played it smart. If you were interacting with me on Twitter during real time of Raw, I said, they're making Dean Ambrose do the silent Jericho. Because you remember that one time that Jericho came back, he was silent for several weeks. Okay, this is great. I got no problem with that. Let Dean Ambrose come out there. Just sell it. He was just making his mean mug faces. I had no problem with all of that. All of that went down. Some people thought that that was rather stupid or whatever. No, I had no problem with that whatsoever. That was structured just right. Dean getting the mega heat, Seth Rollins vowing to make Ambrose's life a living hell, but we still don't quite yet know why Dean Ambrose had did what he did. I don't want to hear anything about a WWE exclusive.com thing, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't be like you guys. So if it didn't air on Raw, at this point, they need to just show that on WWE programming next week, right? But I love that. And I guess now the question is, when are these two guys going to be locking it up? Is it going to be, God, is it going to be at Crown Jewel maybe? Or is it going to be at Survivor Series? You know, you can't help but wonder. One big piece of that we have found out from Raw is that John Cena will not be taking part in the WWE Crown Jewel event. And the way that they explained it storyline wise, I thought it was rather weak. But when I look at it from a creative standpoint for Baron Corbin, of all the people, and the way that they set it up, I kind of like that, actually, right? So basically, Baron Corbin's storyline just says, John Cena, he doesn't deserve it. He ain't doing nothing to deserve that spot. And so Bobby Lashley's taking John Cena's place. Yeah, I know that kind of sucks, but, and then we find out that apparently Daniel Bryan, remember, he was booked for taking on AJ Styles at Crown Jewel for the WWE World Heavyweight the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. For some reason, I was getting ready to say the Universal Championship, but no, it's the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But they had their match tonight, actually, on SmackDown, which was a great way to open up SmackDown. I wish I was pulling you guys' leg. They actually opened up SmackDown with the World Heavyweight Championship match between those two guys. Basically, it was, well, why wait till Friday? Let's do it now. Shane McMahon comes out, says, hey, I like this idea, and I'm back. I'm the matchmaker. I say, let's do it. Let's have it happen right now. You're like, wow, okay. AJ retained. Post-match, though, Samoa Joe attacked both of them viciously. And this had made AJ Styles, a couple of segments later, find Paige backstage, say to Paige, hey, look, I just had my match with Daniel Bryan. I did what I needed to do. Now I want Samoa Joe at Crown Jewel. Paige was a little bit iffy about it, but AJ insisted. So in Daniel Bryan's place, basically, it's going to be Samoa Joe, AJ Styles fighting each other for the WWE Championship, which brings the question of this whole Daniel Bryan and John Cena bailing on WWE Crown Jewel. I want to look at this from a couple of different angles, and I'm not going to be all exhaustive with this, right? So bear with me as I go through this bit of a rabbit hole, if you will. As far as I'm concerned, you know, let me start off by saying this. I'm trying to find the right words, but it's all from the heart. I'm just trying to find the right words. You know, since 2011, one of our main biggest fans of the RCWR show, when it comes to wrestling content, you know, just talking all things wrestling and all that, you know, when I look at the analytics and I look at the different countries that's checking out the content, you know who's in the top 5, who's been in the top 5 for all of these years? It's almost a tie. India and Saudi Arabia. And I say that because India, Saudi Arabia, they love them some WWE. They love them some WWE. And I really feel sorry for the Saudi Arabian fans. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because at the end of the day, you legitimately have wrestling fans, in this case, in Saudi Arabia, years upon years upon years, from afar, from a great distance, they have been looking at this product known as WWE. They've been growing up on some of these colorful characters. Just like us, they grew up on certain periods of the WWE. Attitude Era, Hulkamania, all that. They were there right along with us for the Monday Night War, basically, right? And then this beautiful thing happened where the internet gets introduced, and we get the Twitter, we get the MySpace, we get the Facebook, and we're able to share information with each other, and you know, we're able to get it at such a quicker rate than it was back in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s and all that, right? And so fans in India and Saudi Arabia, their love, their appreciation for the WWE, for wrestling period, is continued to grow, and grow. Now, if you're in a position where, hey, I'm able to get my visa, I got the money, I can come to the States and I can go to WrestleMania, or I can go, you know, that's great. But typically that costs a lot of money and you just can't do it. And I'm sure you guys have heard that with regards to some of these TV shows, with regards to some of these pay-per-view events, in some countries, they don't get it for a day or two. For some TV shows, they don't get it for several days, or they are a week behind while everybody else has pretty much already moved on to the next show or whatever, right? And you're like, damn. So to be in a position where if you're a wrestling fan in Saudi Arabia, in this case, the WWE finally comes to your doorstep. Oh my God, finally, I'm going to be able to see Daniel Bryan. Finally, I'm going to be able to see John Cena. Finally, I'm going to be able to see AJ Styles. Oh my God, I'm going to be, you know, it's like you're a kid in a candy store. But then to hear that, no, sorry, you're not getting Daniel Bryan. No, sorry, you're not getting John Cena. I actually legitimately feel for the fans in Saudi Arabia. Notice I said the fans, because at the end of the day, the fans, the wrestling fans in Saudi Arabia, they didn't ask for all of this controversial crap that's going on right now with the Washington Post reporter that supposedly got assassinated and all that, right? They didn't ask for all of that stuff to happen. If they could have had it their way, that would have never happened. If they could have prevented it, they would have, right? But sadly, they are feeling the impact of what all has been happening these past several weeks with this reporter being killed. And everybody wants to say to John Cena, oh, John Cena, oh, wait for you to stand up. Oh, man, way to take it to him, John Cena. You showed WWE. Oh, man, Yeah, you really showed them. Oh, Daniel Bryan is showing. Oh, you guys. Well, wait a minute. So we're just going to forget that Daniel Bryan, John Cena, we're going to forget that they did the whole thing months back at the greatest Rumble ever. Like, we're going to forget that? We're going to forget about those appearances? Like, we need to be consistent here if we're going to... I don't think that's the narrative we should be painting. I don't think we should be giving John Cena praise for... Because it's like, wait a minute. If John Cena, Daniel Bryan, or anybody else had any issues with Saudi Arabia, it damn sure should have been before the events that had transpired leading up to this Crown Jewel event. There should have been some stuff going down as soon as this first event in Saudi Arabia went down. There should have been, I'm not going. Sorry, I'm not going. Wish I could help you. I'm not going. Right? So let's be consistent from that standpoint, because I see that there's a big widespread of people just, yeah, way to stick it to him, John Cena. Damn, you tell them, guys. And it's like, really? What are you watching? Because I remember these guys some months back in Saudi Arabia, like seriously. But no, the biggest losers out of all of this is the fans in Saudi Arabia. It truly, truly is. And I can tell you that just from looking at the analytics over the years, no matter what platform my podcast may have been streaming on, whether it was Blog Talk Radio or Spreaker currently, or when I do the streams on YouTube, or if I just upload something to YouTube and I'm checking out the back end analytics, Saudi Arabia has always been within the top 5 countries for checking out the wrestling content. And for me, that speaks volumes. That speaks many volumes. I mean, the classic golden years of the RCWR show, you can go back and you can look when you see in the comments section, you've got Saudi Arabians, you know, at this point, they weren't able to speak English. Some were, but most of them would speak in their own native language. And you're kind of going, what the hell are they saying? And I would have to copy whatever they said in the YouTube comments, and I would have to paste it in a Google Translator to see what the hell they were saying. And I mean, over the years, if there's like one name in particular that Saudi Arabian fans love, they love them some John Cena. They love them some John Cena. I'm sure they love them some Roman Reigns as well. I really haven't seen too much Saudi Arabian comments on Roman Reigns, but if I were a betting man, they love them some Roman Reigns as well. While we're talking about this, let's now slide on to some comments that Mark Henry had said with regards to Daniel Bryan and John Cena basically not performing at WWE Crown Jewel. So TMZ, they had caught up with him and asked him about it, and this is what he said, and I quote, "My response is, it's a horrible thing. That person that lost his life, that family is without a brother, without a dad, without a son. They've lost somebody. Anytime there's loss, it's more serious, and it's not a war situation. He was a journalist. And I do believe that all of the ducks need to be in a row. They need to figure this out. They need to own it and apologize for it and to make good by it and do everything you can do to fix the situation. But again, it's a government policy. The government has not said this is what you don't do. You don't go over there. They haven't done that. They haven't done that to any corporations. WWE is just one business. There are hundreds of thousands of businesses that are doing business internally. Why pick on one? Now, with regards to, him not being scheduled at Crown Jewel, but if he would make the trip if Vince McMahon called him, he said, I hope that everybody that listens to TMZ will understand that you have an opinion, and so does everybody else. Don't be a bully. Try to look at something from both sides before you draw that line in the sand, and I say I wouldn't do it. It's un-American. It's not un-American to go and do your job, and when you're expected to go and do your job. Now let's back up a little bit earlier to I think is that all of it? Yeah, I think that was basically all of it. I think I'm actually missing something though. Let me actually go back. I know I'm missing a part here. Let me go back, make sure I had got all that. Yep, I did miss a part. So with regards to John Cena and Daniel Bryan pulling out, I would never say that a person is making the wrong decision. I would say that's not the decision I would make. I would stand by my guns and do what's best for business. I'm a firm believer in not leaving people out to dry. And I've done a lot of things in my career and in my life, my personal life, where I would say I'm not doing that. But there were people hanging in the balance and I didn't want to screw those people over. So that's the situation that this is in. Our fans, they want to see you, you know, give our fans what they want. I like what Mark Henry is saying. I really, really do. I gotta say, Mark Henry has really been more outspoken over the past 18 months than in his entire career. And for me, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. You know, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, they could have used this really as an opportunity to say, I personally feel, and I don't know if WWE would have given them the platform, particularly I'm homing in on John Cena, of all the people to say it. You know, if I would have been the WWE, I would have, and maybe it was presented, I don't know. But if I were to hit people in charge of WWE, I would have said, look, John, a lot of fans in Saudi Arabia, they're definitely expecting to see you. You're going to be disappointing the fans. Won't you please reconsider? And tell you what, after your match is over, the tournament and all that, we can give you a couple of minutes on the microphone and maybe you can release some type of a company statement on behalf of the WWE, kind of recognizing some of the stuff that's happening in Saudi Arabia right now, some of the controversy that's happening overseas. And, you know, maybe you can kind of, in your own nice little way, kind of, you know, hey, this isn't about politics, what we're doing here for you guys today. This is all about entertainment. And we're really glad that you all were able to join us here today for this historic event, right? And, you know, if John Cena wants to, you know, I'm like this at the end of the day. If you're under a contract and you're supposed to do X amount of appearances, X amount of times on these dates, show up. It's work. It ain't no different than your boss telling you, hey, I've got you on the schedule for today. Well, I don't feel like coming in. It's kind of like, I wish you would have some serious negotiating power like that to say, well, I don't feel like coming in, right? But no, if you're on the schedule to work, you got to show up and you got to work. Somehow you got to eat. You got to be able to feed your family. So I really feel that Daniel Bryan and John Cena really missed out on an opportunity to really communicate with the fans. I personally feel politics to the side. It should have been a situation where, and I get it. I really, really get it. In the case of John Cena, he's got to think about that life after wrestling. Daniel Bryan, on the other hand, not so much. I don't exactly see Daniel Bryan as the type of guy that's trying to run out there and he's trying to be the next Sylvester Stallone or Woody Allen or something like that. I mean, Daniel Bryan just really legitimately comes off to me like, you know what, man, I've got my wife, I've got my kid. I really don't need this WWE schedule. You know, they need me more than I need them, basically. And I know some people are speculating, oh, well, what Daniel Bryan did, is this maybe going to cost him whatever push or whatever opportunities might have been down the road for him in the WWE? Has Daniel Bryan now put himself in a position where he's going to be a mid-card guy for the rest of his tenure in the WWE? I say to that remains to be seen. We got to just play that by the ear. And we've just got to fast forward 3 months from now and see where Daniel Bryan is. 6 months from now, see where Daniel Bryan is. with regards to John Cena, really stop and think about this. All the money that John Cena has made in his career while being with the WWE, right? At this point, John Cena does not need the WWE. He is literally on his way out the door. In most cases, John Cena is outside looking in. So realistically, stop and think about it. Is John Cena going to be the type of guy that's going to be butthurt if WWE decides they want to stop going to him? They want to stop calling him for the special events and everything like that? John Cena ain't going to lose no sleep. Do I think it's going to come to that point? Now, see, that's the real thing that we need to be talking about. With John Cena doing what he did by backing out of this event, what are the ramifications, if any? Like, officially, have we now seen the last of John Cena? And I'm going to jump out there. I'm going to say, no, we have not. I don't believe we've seen the last of John Cena in the WWE. I would not be surprised if, I mean, for God's sake, man, for all the money that Vince McMahon has been able to make working with John Cena, the close relationship that they have, all the times that they've hung out, going to concerts together and everything like that, and you're going to tell me everything has exploded because John Cena, of all the times where John Cena puts his foot down and says, no, I'm not going to do that. And if there's one thing we've heard about John Cena over the years, whatever is asked of him to do, much like Roman Reigns, whatever is asked of him to do, if it's for the greater good of the business, John Cena, every single time, Boy Scout, does it. So you're telling me one of only a small handful of times that John Cena puts his foot down and says, I'm not going to do this, that is supposed to be the kiss of death for John Cena in the WWE? I'm not buying that. And anybody else that wants to try to spin it that way, they're sadly mistaken. I would not be surprised if come as early as Survivor Series, which is in a couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if John Cena gets involved. Definitely, we're going to get John Cena Royal Rumble time. We're going to get him WrestleMania time and all that, right? I'm not, it's not the last that we've seen of him. So, I mean, if John Cena wants to back out, that's his right. If he doesn't feel comfortable doing that, that's his right. I do believe in good business practices. I do believe at the end of the day, you really should be focused on entertaining the fans and delivering for the fans, because at the end of the day, it's really the fans whose hearts are going to be broken over this. And my whole thing is, if you don't return to Saudi Arabia now, do you return to Saudi Arabia after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year? That's the real bigger question. I get it. And, you know, fuck John Oliver, by the way. I can't stand that weaselly little motherfucker. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, right? I think it's so interesting. And this is just so, it's hypocritical as far as I'm concerned. You notice when you look at the news, when you read a newspaper, when you go on your favorite website for entertainment news, or when you're watching some of your favorite headline shows during the week, you notice how when something negative comes about, everybody's all over it. They want to talk about it. They want to do whatever they need to do to just put their thumb on that. But whenever there is, hey, well, look at what this company is doing. Look at all of the great things that this company is doing. Oh, my God. Look how much money they donated to this worthy cause. Hey, look at who this company has partnered up with for blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to focus on those things, especially if they're trying to make something fit their narrative, fit their argument, fit their perspective for what they're trying to make their respected audience feed into. This is the Kool-Aid I want to give you guys. Drink this. It's good, right? Fuck John Oliver. Where was John Oliver all the other times when it came to the talk of WWE? It's so weird, isn't it? And it's so funny that people who didn't spend the time or day whatsoever talking about the WWE all of a sudden this shit had went down like America is the only fucking country where something weird goes on and somebody gets kidnapped and or assassinated, and oh, the outrage. Oh, the outrage. We're not the only country that has had these same similar issues. We're not. I could sit here on this very show and I could tell you that you had legit family members of Pablo Escobar that were pissed off at the way his life had came to an end. You still have people, including Pablo Escobar's family, that believe he was assassinated. They believe that, what they did to him, it never was about taking him in peacefully. It never was about apprehending him and making him see the court of law, that they just shot him down like a dog, like a sick dog. That's what it was all about. And you legitimately have people that were outraged over that, yeah? Look, it's sad what had happened to this reporter. Stuff happens. Look, shit happens all the time. You see what had went down in Pittsburgh at that synagogue? And thoughts, prayers to the family victims that were affected by that. That was a heinous act. It was a despicable act. Dude that did that, a fucking coward in my book, as far as I'm concerned. A fucking coward in my book. Lighter note, at least we got the asshole that was in the white van driving around, and he was sending all of those freaking homemade bombs to the Obamas, Robert De Niro, and all that. Turns out the guy was a male stripper at strip clubs up and down Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and a couple of other joints, and he was trying to become a pro wrestler. You could see old retro pictures of him and his costume getup and all that. I just couldn't help but have a hearty laugh when I saw that stuff. I'm going, dude, what the hell? That like, he kind of had like a Chad Gable meets S.A. Rios vibe going on when you looked at how he was dressed up back in the day. But, kind of getting back on track. I mean, it's unfortunate what had happened to that reporter and everything. And, these are the times that we're in right now. We are in these times where the social justice warriors are out in full effect. And Megyn Kelly is a prime example. I wasn't even going to talk about this. Megyn Kelly, I had to get caught up to speed. I saw what she said. Read the transcript. Actually checked out the episode in question. Heard the setup. Heard the whole stuff about blackface. And I just couldn't help but go, NBC, really? So you're now done with Megyn Kelly? Like, really? And I understood the context in which she was saying it. And hear me out, guys, before you get all hot-headed. Hear me out for a second. Now, see, it's one thing if for Halloween, you're going to put some black paint on your face, give yourself some big old white lips or pink bubblegum lips. You saw blue, right? And you walking around with a fried chicken drumstick in one hand and a piece of watermelon in the other hand, and you going, "Oh, we sure is eating good, ain't we, boss?" That's one thing. But if you're doing a situation where, oh man, I'm a big fan of LL Cool J, I'm going to dress up as LL Cool J for Halloween. I don't see anything wrong with that. If you're a white person that decides, hey, I want to dress up as LL Cool J. All right, let me see if I can get myself as tan as humanly possible to meet the complexion of LL Cool J, or get some cocoa cream or something, and I'm going to go dressed up as LL Cool J. I can remember being a little kid, and right before Michael Jackson had the whole incident, the infamous Pepsi commercial, that made him go light skin and all that. I can remember people that were dressing up like Michael. White people would either be running around head to toe dressed up like Mike, had the afro and all that. Some would be running around and they would have his complexion, his cocoa brown complexion. I can remember people running around dressed up as Run DMC, Flash and the Furious 5, MC Hammer. My God, I mean, I can remember many white people doing that. And I tell you what, my friends that were in school, we didn't look at that as they were mocking our race or anything like that. We were like, wow, damn, how'd you pull that off? Where'd you get the jacket? Where'd you get the chains? You got the gold chains. Oh, crap. You know, oh, my God, you got the blah, blah, blah Adidas shoes on. How'd you get all that? You know, I could remember many years where I would dress up for Halloween. I would dress up as some white people. I remember there was one year I dressed up as Jack Nicholson's The Joker. You remember the part where, after he fell into the whole chemical and all that, we saw him again and then he had tried to put regular makeup on? I know that's kind of hard to understand, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, what are you saying, Lee? After he jumped, or rather fell into the boiling pot of chemicals, right? So now he has the albino paint. You remember he had spent a lot of hours afterwards trying to cover all of that up as he was putting just regular skin tone makeup on to try to cover all that up. And I remember my mom had sat me down in a chair for like several hours and she dressed me up just like that, right? And then there was another year where I had half the Joker face and it was like the Prince thing from the Party Man music video and all that. And then I remember there was another year where my mom tried to dress me up as who else? She tried to dress me up as Michael Jackson from Thriller. I remember that. I had the Jerry curl and all that. So I mean, in my household and then in my neighborhood, it wasn't an insult seeing people dress up that were white and they were trying to pretend to be a black celebrity. Could she maybe have chose a different word other than blackface? Yeah, maybe she should have, because for what blackface represents when you look up its history and all that, I really don't think she meant any harm. I really don't. I really don't. I'm not going to say she wasn't being racist. I'm not going to say, because I don't know her. I don't know her personally. Neither do you. You know, only her close friends, colleagues, and all that really know where she is at heart. But to see the social justice warriors come out in full effect and blaze her up, I mean, almost lynched her ass like they did Roseanne Barr. So she goes on her show the very next day, issues the apology, and then NBC goes, okay, all right, so, yeah, no more episodes for the rest of this week. They were just looking for an excuse to get rid of Megyn Kelly. History has shown that time and time again. I remember one of the first guests on her show was Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda was pissed at her because Megyn Kelly had went into a sensitive subject, obviously, was talking about Jane Fonda's history with plastic surgery. And that really was an area that Jane Fonda did not want to go into. Jane Fonda, the daughter of Henry Fonda. She didn't want to go into that. And I remember at one point things had got pretty heated. Then the very next day on her show, she tried to justify that. There were a lot of instances where Megyn Kelly rubbed her guests the wrong way. And everything just basically culminated in the blackface comment. NBC was already looking to get rid of her anyway because her ratings for her show sucked before she came on board. That 9 to 10 o'clock hour of the Today Show, it was fine. The ratings were good. But then once they brought Megyn Kelly on board, they tanked big time. And they tanked big time because a lot of people thought that they were going to be getting the Megyn Kelly that was over on Fox News. They thought they were going to be getting that, but they didn't get that. Instead, they got some watered down. It was a 180 basically, right? But the social justice warriors came out in full effect, screaming bloody murder to NBC, calling up the advertisers, you name it. And now, but look, when it's all said and done, they wanted to be done with her anyway. this was just the scapegoat. But no, when you really stop and think about it, the social justice warriors sometimes, man, they just, I don't like them. I really don't like them. You know, I was telling a friend the other day, and I always say this on the show off and on, but dudes, can you just take a step back and marinate on this for a few ticks? Can you just imagine if All in the Family, same cast back in the day, can you just imagine if that show was on today? They wouldn't even make it past 4 episodes. The Jeffersons, oh my God, retro George Jefferson, when he was calling white people honkies and all that, whew, the social justice warriors wouldn't be having any of that. You go to Married with Children, remember how Al used to always make fun of Mrs. Darcy? Call her a little boy and all types of stuff. And just the way that women were mostly portrayed on that show. From Al always trying to grab his issue of biggins to how he would belittle overweight women that came into his store to buy shoes, and how he would be at the bar with his no ma'am group and they're looking at big, oh my God, left and right, the social justice warriors, they wouldn't be having any of that. They would be looking to take that show off the freaking air. It's the God's to honest truth when you really stop and you think about it. And I think it's just fucking ludicrous in this day and age that we've got these social justice warriors that's running around. You know, they're thinking that, you know, oh, you know, and it's like they have no fucking idea. They have no fucking clue. You show them the stuff that, you know, people in their mid-30s had grew up on in the 80s and all that. And, you know, they just don't get it. It's like it's so fucking PC now that it's not even funny. It's not even funny. And sometimes I just wonder, I scratch my head and I wonder sometimes, when are some of these networks, when are some of these celebrities, when are some of them, it's not all, but it's like, when are majority gonna not cave in to the social justice warriors and be like, no, I'm doubling down. This is, I mean, it got so bad. I still remember that one movie that Scarlett Johansson was supposed to star in. She was supposed to be, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but she was supposed to play a transsexual. If I'm not mistaken, a man that became a woman. She was supposed to be playing that. And people were so pissed off that she was cast in this movie, and they were crying, you know, oh, why not just go with an actual transgendered person for the role? Why does it have to go to a female pretending to be a transgendered man? Yeah, a lot of people were crying foul over it. And the original response that Scarlett Johansson had, yeah, you know what? It made me lose respect for her. I definitely would admit that. It made me lose a lot of respect for her, because this was her opportunity to say, hey, folks, at the end of the day, I'm just an actor. I take different parts. My PR team, they go out there, they see what's available. I look over the scripts, and I gotta tell you, I really felt very passionate about this script that I was reading. I felt that I really related to this character. This was a role that really had intrigued me, and there is nothing I would love to do more than tackle such a challenging role like this. Yes, I am well aware that I do not have the correct anatomy and the background to be in this position, but I really feel that if you guys just really took the time out to get lost in the story that we're trying to tell, that you would really come away appreciating it. Rather than her put out a very eloquent statement like that, she basically bashed the fans and everything, and that really intensified, and so much so that eventually she backed out of the project. Again, social justice warriors running out in full effect here. No different than what's going on with this whole Saudi Arabia thing. Everybody wants to, you know, poke the bear, poke at the WWE for all of, you know, what they're doing, when at the end of the day, you know, they're not in the whole political spectrum. You've seen the decent job that they've tried to do about, and think about this. Think about this. when we were watching WWE in the 90s, guys, anytime it came down to rock the vote, WWE was always pushing for you to go out there, vote, 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 vote. Man, I tell you what, after Obama, they've been quiet. They have been quiet. They've been like, okay, we're leaving the political stuff alone. We're not going there anymore. No Trump references since he's been in the office. Nothing political. They have not touched it. They don't want to go there. They are strictly trying to be all about the entertainment. And you know what? At the end of the day, what is WWE being paid to do by the Saudis? They're being paid to entertain. Don't get mad at WWE for going to Saudi Arabia. If you're going to get mad at the Saudi Arabia government for not having the balls and common decency to say to the WWE, hey, WWE, we got these controversial things that's going on right now in our country. These are some turbulent times right now. It's totally up to you guys if you want to go on through with this event, but we would totally understand it if you all just want to pause right now and we can make up for this event, you know, that y'all are supposed to be giving us. We can work out something in a couple of months, kind of let this die down after the holidays. It's one thing if WWE gets a opportunity like that from Saudi Arabia. That's one thing. But when it's a situation where those type of talks haven't even happened, and basically it's on WWE's doorstep to decide whether or not, okay, are we going to do this event or are we not going to do this event? And say what you will, but hey, when the tickets, although it was a good minute before they finally went on sale, them tickets via the Saudi Arabia website where they were being sold, they sold out rather quickly, if not the same day, within a couple of hours. So that tells you how much of an impact WWE has in places like that, where at the end of the day, the fans that have no control over the type of stuff that they're seeing in the headlines, what happened with this reporter in our country and all that, they have no control over that. At the end of the day, they're fans. They're trying to be entertained. Should they really be denied? I don't think so. I don't think that's fair. I really don't. But to each its own. We went a little bit round trip there. Tony in the chat. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. And she told you who she was on Fox News and NBC gave her millions away. I don't know, crazy times. Agree, Lee, about ratings and her not meaning how she talked about this topic on Halloween. But she told the line, I feel, Minton, when she said she was on Fox News. Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. I agree with you. Let's see here. Yeah, my memory for the 80s, very, very, very good. Oh, Gino, I don't know. Gino saying in the chat, Roman Reigns probably asking for a lot just for an autograph and picture with him. Well, look at it like this. Roman Reigns, right? So let's go with Undertaker. I think Undertaker asked for 150 at that event in California. He asked for 150 for a photo op and 150 for an autograph. Roman Reigns, I would not be surprised if that's about the amount that he asked for. And I mean, my God, man, can you just think about the ultimate combo where you could take a picture with Alexa? Who is it? Alexa, Ronda. I wish it was Ronda. Alexa, Roman, and Charlotte. Can you just imagine if there's like a combo pack where you can get a picture with all three of them? That's going to be a lot of money right there. I would imagine if they were to try to entertain something like that, that alone would probably be, what you think, guys? Maybe 300, maybe 350? Give or take. Not too shabby. You guys enjoying the show? Make sure you give the thumbs up. Let's see how much showtime we got left here. All right, we're doing pretty good. A couple more topics I want to get into here. Oh, I found this hilarious, by the way. I found this hilarious. So Hulk Hogan, he had recently did a interview. And one of the things that had really stood out to me about this interview was he admitted to being a politician while he was in the WWE. I BS you not. He admitted to it. And the joy was funny. I'm actually trying to see if I can. Yep, this is what he said. And he had conducted this interview with the Orlando Sentinel. He said, and I quote, "Once I got in the top spot, to keep that spot, that's where the politics come in." Everybody goes, well, Hulk Hogan was a politician. Well, thank God I was. That's why I made more money than anybody else. That's why I kept the belt longer. That's why instead of a 5 or 6 or 10-year run like The Rock or Stone Cold or different wrestlers, I had a 35-year run on the top. When I read that, I just couldn't help but rub my eyes and do a double take, because I'm going, oh my God, did the Hulkster just admit? Wow, that's... how much more candid can you be, please? And I love this candid talk from the Hulkster. I sincerely do. No joking. I'm not being sarcastic. I love this. You know what this says to me? This spells volumes to me on so many levels, because it's basically, here is a man that is in the twilight years of his career, knows that he only has a couple of more moments. I don't mean in the ring as far as wrestling. I just mean as far as contributions overall to the industry. He knows that he only has but a handful more before he's totally out of it altogether. Now, when I say out of it, what I really mean is before the skies above call him. That's basically what I mean. And here he is being so loose, being so candid. And I have to tell you, I really love this manifestation of the Hulkster that we've been getting the past couple of years. I tell you what, and anybody that has been following the life and career of the Hulkster, especially when you check out the Saturnmania documentary. I loved watching that, by the way. That was fantastic. If you didn't check that out yet, there is a review for it on the YouTube channel. You can check it out that way. It's in the playlist there. I want to say it's under DVD reviews. You can check it out that way. We actually had talked to the director himself, Adam Gacka, I believe that's his name. And we know of the emotional roller coaster that the Hulkster was on, the dark demons that he had been battling, and there was that Hulkster that was running around lie upon lie upon lie, and each time he'd open his mouth, the lies just kept popping up, and you're like, wait a minute, Hulkster, and you're doing like Bill Duke and Menace to Society. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. You know you fucked up, right? And you're just able to cross-reference his lies and expose them. I mean, for me, probably the biggest lie of them all. Yeah, brother, I was the original bassist for Metallica. And it's like, what? I'm like, I call bullshit. Like, as soon as I first heard that news, I'm going, I call bullshit. Lifelong Metallica fan here is like, no, I don't remember ever hearing about a Terry Bollea almost coming close to being in Metallica. What the hell? And then James Hetfield and freaking Lars Ulrich, they're like, no, never happened. We never, no. Maybe he came to a party and interacted with us or whatever, but yeah, no, he never played for us. There was never any talk about him being in our band. Not really sure what he's talking about, right? That's what I remember the most. But no, I love this new Hulkster that we're getting. I mean, whoever this girl is that he's now with, I don't know if they're married yet. Someone would have to hit me, because I don't try to follow their personal lives like that, not unless it's really affecting the business side of things. But the little bit that I've been able to find out about this new woman that's been in his life for a couple of years now, she has really done a great job in steering him in the right direction. I know they go to church and all that weekly and everything, and for him to be that damn candid, damn, is all I gotta say. Please, more. I love when somebody owns their shit. And it just, for me, owning up, taking self-accountability like that, that is a very good, strong trait that I love, I admire, and I respect very much. It makes me even more attracted to that person's character, to their demeanor. I love that. And WWE, the Hulkster, you know that they're like back in good graces again. And one of the things that a lot of the news media outlets keep talking about is, oh, the Hulkster, he's going to be at Crown Jewel. Well, wait a second. Hulkster never said that he was going to be at Crown Jewel. The only thing Hulkster said is that he's looking forward to going on this trip with WWE to Saudi Arabia for this Crown Jewel event. Now, a lot of people feel that, oh, well, the Hulkster is going to be returning at Crown Jewel. He's going to be doing something. Look, Friday's right around the corner. Let's deal with it then and go from there. But I never officially saw some type of a statement by the Hulkster in the WWE saying, hey, Hulkster's going to be appearing at Crown Jewel. I never saw anything like that. Never. So I wish the dirt sheets and the websites and the podcasts, I wish they would put the right information out there. Because now everybody, what do you think the Hulkster's going to do at Crown Jewel? It's like, stop. Please, just don't spin that narrative. Only thing the Hulkster said was he's tagging along with the WWE to Saudi Arabia for this Crown Jewel event. Now, it's very easy to twist those words and you can spin it to fit whatever narrative you want to spin it to. But ultimately, he's just looking forward to going to this event. Kind of no different than WWE saying to the Hulkster, hey man, we're going to be in blah, blah, blah for Extreme Rules. You want to come on by and hang out backstage? Yeah, sure, I'd love that. Would you like to talk to the locker room while you're at it? Yeah, sure. There's some things I'd like to get off my chest. Sure. And what was everybody saying when they first heard the news about the Hulkster showing up backstage Extreme Rules weekend when the rumblings were he was going to be going there? Oh, Hulkster's going to be involved in a match at Extreme Rules. And I didn't see anybody retracting their statements after that pay-per-view was done and over. That's all I'm saying. Also, while we're talking about the Hulkster had recently did the NWO reunion event with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. There was a taping of it. I know Bruce Pritchard was there in attendance and everything. Conrad Thompson. Looked like the event was really, really good. Kevin Nash was quoted saying to a fan, he actually had went to Reddit to reveal this. Apparently, the reason why that this event was done ultimately was to try to see if it could garner up enough revenue, enough mainstream attention so that the WWE could potentially entertain the idea of inducting the NWO in the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm not really sure how much of that really rings true, but and why would Kevin Nash just loosely, or loosely, I should say. Loosely is not a word. So, yeah, every time I do that, I like put some money in the jar. But why would he loosely, casually just say that to some random fan? That's kind of, that wouldn't be like Kevin Nash. I kind of challenge that. That kind of sounds to me like somebody's trying to make their own news and kind of put somebody out there, kind of stir the pot up a little bit. But I mean, on a more interesting note, WWE, they did show the Hulkster a lot of love, and on social media, they were retweeting, liking this whole NWO event. So, I mean, look, use common sense. You saw what they did the past couple of times with Mick Foley's improv one-man show that he did. Does anybody recall if they did something with JR? Did they put something from JR on the WWE network yet? I don't recall them, but for Foley, I definitely remember they did a little something. I'm really surprised that they haven't shown something from Dolph Ziggler and his stand-up comedy, because I've actually heard that his stand-up comedy is really good, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe WWE is looking at the numbers, seeing how much tickets had sold, checking out the buzz on social media. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, come on, at the end of the day, WWE, they do own the intellectual rights and all that to the NWO. So, I mean, use a little bit of common sense. You don't think that in the back end that WWE is getting a little bit of money off of the whole NWO stuff? Come on, use 2 and 2. But the idea of the NWO going into the WWE Hall of Fame, I like that idea because honestly, and we'll talk about it a little bit more next week because I really wasn't prepared to talk about it this week. But as far as it's right around the corner, Hall of Fame time, who's going to be going in, right? You got to have some marquee names, and NWO, that definitely is a good nod. I mean, honestly, I think it would just depend on how much longer the Hulkster can keep his nose out of trouble and everything. And honestly, I think NWO being headliner for the Hall of Fame, it's a strong possibility. And that kind of goes back to playing the idea that I was talking about earlier, which is the Hulkster has only but a handful more moments, that magical moments that he can give to the business before the pearly gates come a-calling. NWO Hall of Fame, yeah, I would definitely be down with that. See what else we got here. We're getting down to the wire. Shout out to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett had lost a hair versus hair match at AAA's Heroes Inmortales on Sunday night. I pronounced it just how it's spelled, folks. I did not butcher that. He lost the match, and as a result, there was a stipulation that was added. He lost to Dr. Wagner Jr. As a result of losing that match, he had to get his hair shaved. It was a hair versus hair match, and he is now bald. And it's really, really weird seeing a bald-headed Jeff Jarrett. It really is. But at the same time, you kind of felt it was coming, because I don't know if you guys were really able to tell, but you look at his hair, and I give him a lot of credit. He kept it short for such a long period of time, but you could tell that it was looking a little bit balding in some areas. You could tell it wasn't a situation where, okay, he's just cutting it really, really low. He was kind of going bald, especially in the front. When you look at the front scalp, there was a few areas where it looked like it was thinning pretty badly, and some areas, kind of like the center of his hair, was kind of poofy like, and the way he would kind of comb some of it over and all that, looked like he was trying to cover a little bit of something up. So it taking me a little while to get used to the bald head. I don't know if this is something he's going for permanently or what, but it definitely looks very, very weird. On a more interesting note, I was going to get to this, but then I got sidetracked. Jerry Lawler, this is hilarious. He actually made his own funeral arrangements. You heard me right. He made his own funeral arrangements, plot and all. Very sick how these guys operate. Okay, so he recently had talked about this on his podcast, and he was talking about how he had worked on his post-mortem funeral arrangements, and he said, and I quote, "These people that work at funeral homes get you when you're vulnerable, you're feeling sad and all that kind of stuff. Then they use that time to hit you with, Mr. Lawler, look at this. You don't want to have somebody go through this kind of problem after you pass away. You want to have all this stuff kind of, done for yourself. So next time, I'm buying a plot for myself." The lady said, "We have a special deal here. We have a celebrity row. Our manager, I just spoke with him, would really love to have you out here. We're dying to have you out here." I really hope they did not use that terminology. Otherwise, that is, I can just picture, "We're just dying to have you out here." To make a long story short, I bought a plot on Celebrity Row. My grave will be right next to Isaac Hayes. And Isaac Hayes has a big 7-foot tall piece of bronze with etched words and writings and all that stuff. So he's going to be next to Isaac Hayes. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, at least with him dying and, him being dead, he's going to be going out in style. He's going to be sleeping right next to Isaac Hayes. That's pretty badass. And when you stop and think about it, that's badass. Gino poses a good question in the chat. I hope it's the 3 founding members of the NWO. Actually, you know what? I would take the 3 founding members of the NWO, or I would take NWO with Eric Bischoff. But I'm leaning more towards the initial 3. Who better to induct him in the Hall of Fame, by the way, than Eric Bischoff? I really hope he's able to get that nod, and, you know, because that was pretty much his brainchild and all that. Yeah, he borrowed a little something from New Japan, but he implemented it so well over the States. Hey, got to give a shout out to Impact Wrestling Scarlett Bordeaux. I don't know if you guys had heard about this, but she had received her first Twitter dick pic. I wish I was fooling you guys. She actually had got her first Twitter dick pic, and she was not pleased. She actually had took to Twitter, and she said, and I quote, "So today I received my first dick pic in the video submissions for Impact Wrestling. Not impressed. Blown away that it took this long. Great job, guys. You're not as creepy as you look." Now, you know, over the years, I have complimented women. I have said, oh my God, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. Oh my God, she's got a great figure. Hey, she's got a great looking face. Hey, she seems like the type of person that, and some people would have the audacity to say, oh my God, this dude's coming off creepy. Like, what's creepy about saying, hey, she comes off as the type of girl that likes to kick back, play video games, kind of a chill person, seems like somebody you could, you know, have the top down in your car, just go driving around. There's nothing creepy about that. Nothing creepy about that. What's creepy is if you're maybe a 50 and up guy and you're salivating over, you know, 30 plus and younger woman, right? It doesn't quite, you know, that just seems kind of off or whatever. You know, but like when I would compliment some of these female wrestlers in the past, I never went to the lengths of, that girl's got some big ass. Oh man, I bet you her walls are deep as fuck. Yeah, I never talked like that. Never have on this show. So I hope that the people that, and I think these were social justice warriors that were coming at me like that. I hope the social justice warriors, when it counts the most, with a guy that was operating like this on social media, you know, I really hope they lit his ass up, because let me tell you something, it's weirdos like this guy that gives male wrestling fans overall a bad rep, right? I'm really sorry that she had experienced that, and I'm just not saying that just to be saying that. I'm actually legitimately sorry that she had experienced that. It's very disturbing, and I mean, my God. Let me be real. Let me be real. Women, most women do not care about a picture of a dick. That dick better be long as I don't know what. That dick better be Kamehameha, you know, that dick better be Dragon Ball Z. You know how they're the gorillas at first and they got the tail, you know, wrapped around their waist and all that crap. Man, that slong better be like that goddamn long, wrapped around your waist 3 times, and when you just unloosen it, it just drops to the floor, right? That thing better have 8 block mile radius or something like that. I think that's really the only way, if you're lucky without the woman running in fear, screaming her ass off, I think that's really the only way you're going to be able to impress a chick, right? So, if it ain't around that size, or if it ain't the size of 2 Verizon Fios remote controls stacked together, you know, first off, don't do that. And then second of all, don't do it at all. No matter how big your thing is, don't do it at all. It's just, it's so, you know, God, really? You know, you can't try to win somebody over with your personality and, I don't know, good looks or what's going on with your bank account. Like, that's how we're going at it nowadays. We're just going, hey, baby, how you doing? How you doing, baby? Won't you look at this right here? Won't you tell me that's a fine piece of meat you ever laid your eyes on, baby? Tell me, don't you want to wrap your lips around this big old piece of hunk of burning log right here, baby? Yeah. Like, seriously, like, no. There's other ways you can attract a woman. Seriously. Let that be a surprise. Seriously, let that be a surprise. If it's packing, let that be a surprise for the woman when after you all have had your drinks and, you know, you've gotten to know each other and she's like, want to come home for a nightcap? And you come home with her and you know, you're kissing, you're making out, and the next thing you know, she just reaches down there and she just goes, oh my God. And you can just look dead at her and go, I know, baby. I know. You know, seriously. I love telling this joke. There's this one joke I love to tell you guys. I would love to tell you guys. I've heard this joke over the years, and I say it once in a blue moon. So two guys, they're at the urinal, right? And no, actually, let me set it up. So one guy is at the urinal. He's doing his thing. Another guy comes in. Hey, how you doing? The guy says, pretty good. So the guy that just comes in, he's using the urinal right next to him. Brr, water sure is cold. The other guy goes, excuse me? The water sure is cold. I'm not sure what water you're talking about. The water here in the urinal. Woo, sure is cold. I guess. And if you missed that, the guy that just came in the bathroom to use the urinal, his log was so goddamn long that it, like, you figure it out. And thus, when he flushed, yay long. Okay, so funny little joke. I remember the first time I heard that joke, I didn't understand what was going on, and the guy had to, like, visually tell me, dude, the guy's dick. His dick, goddammit, it's that big, it's that long, it fell in the water. So when he flushes it, he goes, it's cold. It's like, oh, well, okay, right? But then when I tried to make the joke be my own over the years, I think I've added at the end of it, well, damn. And then again, partner, I guess you really wouldn't know how cold the water is, huh? I mean, look at that thing. You know, sometimes I'll add that to it, but I like just having people just figure that whole riddle out, right? Throughout the years, there's probably been only one guy that's been able to figure that story out and was able to beat me to the punch. And I'm like, okay, I see you. You're catching on. You're good. You're good. Let's see. Oh, Sasha Banks. She had set the rumors right on her recent several weeks where she wasn't on WWE programming. Not sure how many of you guys had heard about this, but basically she finally debunked the rumors. Remember, we were on this show last week and I said, hey, it'd be really cool if people just went up and asked her, hey, on social media, hey, Sasha, what's going on with you, man? Are you pregnant? People saying you're pregnant? What's going on? Well, she finally had cleared the air. She had did this on Maria Menounos' show. And it turns out she was having head pain and it was really hard for her to function. She couldn't drive. She couldn't sleep. She had to go get things checked out. So that's why you did not see her for a couple of weeks there on WWE programming. She followed up by saying she had went to several neurologists and was told she had post-concussion syndrome. And she basically went on to say that, you know, she kind of was worried there for a little bit because she didn't think that maybe she was going to be able to perform at Evolution. But as you guys had saw, she was able to perform after all. So it's nice debunking the rumors because we had people that were going, oh, she's pregnant. But she got a back injury. That's what's going on with her. And it was like, what the hell? And the people that were spreading this, it was like, well, our sources said, and it's like, well, who's your source? And I know some people don't want to reveal their source, but it's like, I got a better idea. Just ask her. Ask her for an official statement, right? And it's nice that she finally had addressed this. So just goes to show you once again that the dirt sheets and, you know, those guys that want to spread fake news and all that, once again, here was a situation here where they had got the information wrong. Because a lot of people were either saying that she either had got pregnant or that she had some type of a back injury, and it was neither. It was neither. So Let's see what else. Shout out to Vince McMahon and The Rock. They made it on the Variety 500 list. Basically, the 500 list. It tackles the most influential 500 of the most influential business leaders that shape the global $2 trillion entertainment industry. So The Rock made the list. The Rock's ex-wife, Danny Garcia, she made the list. Vince McMahon had made the list. So shout out to them. That's a really good honor. I think that's fucking badass. And who else we got here? What is post-concussion syndrome? So basically, post-concussion syndrome, it's safe to say that at some point during a match, whether Sasha Banks had landed the wrong way on her head or whatever like that, is basically a symptom that will continue for several days, sometimes several weeks, maybe even a year or more after a concussion. It's a lingering symptom of a concussion, basically. Kind of mild traumatic experience that's happening to the brain, basically a result of some type of a head injury, right? Symptoms of it can include dizziness, it can include fatigue, it can include headaches. And if you kind of notice what Sasha had said, she said it was hard for her to drive, it was hard for her to think, focus and all that. So that's pretty much what was going on with her in a nutshell. And other than that, see what else we got. That's way too long. I don't want to get into that. I was going to get into the WWE third quarter financial reports, but that's a little bit too long. So I'll actually save that for a YouTube exclusive. But there is one more thing I want to get into. I thought this was kind of interesting. Cody Rhodes, he's taking part in the Jericho Cruise. And at one point, he had said it was during a match. I think he had a match with Delirious, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was built on the Jericho Cruise. And after the match was over, he basically had told the crowd, hey, as far as me coming back to the WWE, I hear these rumors that's coming about. It ain't happening. I'm not going back. So forget about it. I'm having too much fun doing my thing. And apparently Cody was not aware that on the cruise there would be internet, because his wife Brandy was trying to signal to him, hey, don't talk like that. Don't talk like that, because this is going to be streaming. Like, we do get internet service out here. And Cody sadly did not know. So whether or not that was a work or not, honestly, I would not be surprised if it was a situation where it was not a work, because I got to tell you, and we were actually supposed to go on that cruise, but the more me and the missus had thought about it, it really would not have been rest and relaxation. I would have been like in RCWR show mode, trying to get interviews, trying to take notes, and I would have been wired nonstop. And most importantly, I wouldn't have been spending any quality time with the little ladies. So it was kind of like one of those, well, if he does it again, and I know, right? It's like, but the first cruise, that's the most important, because it's the first time something like this is happening. Well, to that I say, look at it this way. Any mistakes that might be made during the first cruise trip, everything will be rectified the second go round on, right? But I was under the impression that there probably was not going to be internet, and that if internet was available, you would be paying out the ass in fees. So I don't believe that this was a work, but it's been awesome seeing a lot of the pictures that's been coming about from people that's been on the cruise so far. Personally, I can't wait to hear the Jericho podcast. I know Fight TV, they are showing some exclusive stuff from the Jericho cruise for like $20-25 or whatever. I might actually follow up and check some of that out later this week and everything. Should be some good stuff. All right, so other than that, I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else I want to get into, and I don't think there is, so I'm going to go on ahead. Like I said, we were supposed to get into the WWE third quarter financial reports, but I'm going to make that be a YouTube exclusive for you guys. And also, we got the Crown Jewel pay-per-view event. That's going to be coming up this Friday. I actually am taking a personal day off from work to check out this event. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about entertainment. That's it. I know there's going to be a lot of curious people that are going to be wanting to know what's up with this event. So I actually will be checking out the event. If you'll be cutting from school or work or whatever, taking a day off from either, get at me on Twitter at the RCWR show, and we can keep each other company during the event. It's supposed to come on at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. on the West Coast here in the States. So I'm pumped. I'm very excited. I can't wait for the event. I mean, just looking at the what's shaping up to be the final card right now, I can definitely go over the card real quick with you guys, and let's see how this card is looking. All right, so we've got AJ Styles taking on Samoa Joe for the WWE title. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the vacant Universal Championship, guaranteed a winner. DX, AAA Shawn Michaels taking on Brothers of Destruction. The Bar are going to be teaming up with the Big Show to... yeah, am I reading that right? No. It's just going to be the Bar, Sheamus, and Cesaro, but Big Show will be at ringside. They'll be taking on the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Titles. Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley, World Cup quarterfinal singles match for the Raw bracket. Raw bracket for the quarterfinals. World Cup continues with Kurt Angle versus Ziggler. Over on the SmackDown bracket, Jeff Hardy will take on The Miz. Meanwhile, Rey Mysterio will face Randy Orton. And then you'll have the semifinals match for Raw and the semifinal singles match for SmackDown. And then you'll have the Raw finalists taking on the SmackDown finalists in the World Cup Finals singles match. So that's how it's all looking. We'll go into picks, preview, and all that. I'll probably have something available, I would say maybe Wednesday night, give or take. Most likely, I'll have something set up. But that is going to do it. Be Kind Rewind. Check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed, available on demand and on the downloads. If you didn't get a chance to check out the female panel for the Evolution after show with Dark Dragunn and the lovely Tammy, check that out when you guys get an opportunity. It's on YouTube, also available on demand and on the downloads. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at the RCWR show. Shout out to everybody that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the download. Shout out to Shaba. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Lee Strack. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to Akano. Shout out to I Love Shrimp. Shout out to Seb. Shout out to, am I missing anybody else? I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Shout out to our Patreon members. Do appreciate their love and support as always. Be my Patreon, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio and video content, new content at that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Everything just starts at $5 a month. You get access to exclusive bonus content. Those of you that's going to be waiting on the audio for this, give me about 30 minutes and I'll have this be available for you guys to check out, okay? And in the meantime, that is going to do it. I want all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I will catch you this Friday as soon as WWE Crown Jewel concludes. We'll be right here for you guys exclusively on YouTube. So do come. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Till next go around, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another and may the good news be yours.